18 years. Chapter 1 was exactly 18 years and 211 days long. It started 2 minutes past 9 on the 13th of November 2001 in the German town of Uelzen.
When I was 2 years old, my family and I moved to Sweden, into a house in the woods. A new country. And while it was a big step at a young age, it was totally worth it. Kindergarten and my first school years were spent in Ruda, a little arrangement of buildings that had its prime time in the 60s. Growing up here was heavenly. The summers were spent with friends biking to the nearby lake and playing football under the Swedish midnight sun until the sky turned blue again, while the winters were full of skiing and snow. Speaking of, football was a very important part of Chapter 1 for me. I started playing at 5 years old on different youth teams around in my local area, sometimes against kids my age, sometimes against older ones. I was delighted to find out that my teammates would be in my class once I had to move school to Högsby. Once again, my horizon grew. Now after a while, about 10 years later, football stopped being the right sport to me, but the friends stayed. In search of something new, I found windsurfing. One summer, as we were visiting my grandparents in Greece, they gifted me a windsurfing course and I was hooked. I spent every morning and afternoon at the beach getting smacked in the water by the wind. And then my awesome uncle actually gifted me his old board, which is totally great. Now Sweden wasn't the best place for windsurfing, but in the summer it was okay. Every summer from then was basically spent traveling, usually far from home, not always in Greece, but always far from home. Something that I appreciate more and more the more I think about it nowadays. Growing up in a different country made me appreciate different societies a little bit more than usual, and I was eager to see as much of the world as I could. Now windsurfing was great in the summer, but if you value your toes and fingers, you'll stop once autumn rolls in. And so I came to my first gym membership. Now, no matter how many push-ups young Oli had done before, I was always a twig. There's a saying for that in German, ein Strich in der Landschaft, which roughly translates to he is but a line in the landscape.
Around the same time, I bought my very first DSLR. I had the brilliant idea that I wanted to become a tech YouTuber. Very original, I know. As I started filming, I didn't think that this could be something that I wanted to pursue in my future. Of course, I had the dream of being the next big YouTuber, but nothing really more serious than that. But as time passed, I started focusing less and less on the technology in front of me and more on cinematography and storytelling. I shot my first short, and I started to believe that this could actually be something that I wanted to do in my future.
One summer, my adventure crazy mom suggested that we should bike the Canadian wilderness. I love you, Mom, I didn't actually mean the crazy part, I swear. Anyways, I decided to document the whole trip, and oh boy, it was one hell of a trip. It ended before a huge building with 3 letters on it. VFS, Vancouver Film School. After that summer, I had to switch schools again. A new horizon, once again. That now meant that I had to travel 120 kilometers a day to Kalmar, the biggest city in the region. I knew nobody there, but considering that the Swedish school system allows you to choose a program in secondary school, and as I was accepted into a tech program, I was pretty excited. I found new friends and new dreams. I was gonna become a filmmaker at the film school that I saw the summer before. And as I was basically breathing through schoolwork, I started focusing more and more on my application to the film school. Switching schools also meant switching gym again. I was quite lucky, I found a powerlifting gym close by. After about a year, they asked me if I didn't want to compete with them. And within a year, I was in the Swedish Championships. The next 2 years passed in a breeze. The summers were spent biking the North American wilderness, and I shot my first real commercials. I was completely blown away that I could earn money doing something that I loved. I got accepted into VFS, and I prepared myself to once more widen my horizons, this time on an international level. The end of chapter 1 was coming in sight. Soon I will be leaving all of this behind. Family, friends, familiar places, the society I grew up in, getting smaller behind me while I fly away at a speed which to me seems close to the speed of light, until it finally vanishes behind the curvature of Earth. So a big thank you for making me who I am today, and I sincerely hope that I'll see you again in chapter 2, because chapter 1 might have come to an end, but the book has only just begun.